Good morning and welcome to another episode of Morning Java brought to you by our friends at the Get-Go Cafe and Market, where they have healthy stuff.
I could use some healthy stuff in my life.
Yeah, they have lots of that.
I got too many vices. I need healthy stuff.
They have chicken that's antibiotic free. They have good salads. They have lots of stuff. You don't go in there feeling crummy about getting what they have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not all beef jerky.
Right.
Yeah.
This thing hurts, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I can speak for that. Yeah.
Yeah? Where have you been? Maybe I shouldn't ask that. Where have you been hit that it hurt the most?
Fortunately, I've either gotten mostly padding or in like the ribs, which is probably about as high as I've taken it. But yeah, they definitely hurt. I'm glad I never got hit in the face. But
I actually got hit in the face by a puck at Penguins warm-up at the Civic Arena. And the thing came, it was a shot, and it got me right here.
Oh, wow.
Like I can still feel like this crevice. And I got put out of commission there for a little while when that happened. That was a few years ago. And then, whoops. And then I almost got hit in, where were we? In Los Angeles at warm-ups. I didn't even know this. Chris Stewart, the Penguins athletic trainer, came up to me in the locker room afterwards and said, "Did you not even realize that you almost got hit?" I'm like, "No, I'm glad I didn't." Why do human beings willingly lie down on the ice in front of these things?
Well, I think it's just part of the game. I mean, blocking shots is, especially in today's game, I think it's become increasingly more important. The coaches are looking for their defensemen in particular to block shots, and obviously on the penalty kill. You know, I think the equipment's better. I think that's made a lot more people brave. You know, so I think it doesn't hurt as much as it used to. A lot more protected areas. You know, it's still a calculated risk.
But they're reluctant too. The other calculated risk in the equation is that if you put stuff on your shins or even on your skates, these super lightweight skate guards and everything else, players will tell you that it messes with their skating. I mean, Brian Rust wears them now, and he's reluctant because when he's 5-on-5, his skating is an enormous part of his game. Yeah,
I mean, those things, you know, some skates now they claim are made with like Kevlar or something that isn't as clunky as what Rust has as the traditional skate guard thing. But yeah, I don't know how anybody could skate in those things, honestly, because it just feels like they're, you know, so much, makes your foot seem so much bigger that it would hinder your skating. That's why I'm surprised Rust wears them.
And a lot of it's just a feel thing too. And but then I look at a guy like Garrett Wilson, whose primary responsibilities are all grunt work. What would stop Garrett Wilson from, and I've never asked him this, what does he put, you know, on his, particularly in the shin and the knee and the ankle areas where the most common breaks are? What can guys do down there? Because they can't go, for those of you really dating the reference here, remember Craig Ludwig?
Oh yeah, with the extra wide shin guards, yeah.
Yeah, defenseman back for Montreal and Minnesota back in the day who had, they looked like goalie pads.
Yeah, they look like goalie pads from the 50s, but yeah, you know, the equipment today is so much better. I mean, if you take one in the shin, it's probably not going to injure you. I mean, where the trouble happens is when it hits you like in the side of the foot or, you know, maybe in the back of the leg if it gets a piece there. But, you know, getting hit by a puck is never fun. I don't care how much padding you have.
No, it still hurts. It still takes something, a certain word that Mike Sullivan is comfortable using off the record to describe his players who have enough gumption to get down and block shots.
Taylor, one concern that people are going to have is whether or not there's going to be a hockey season in the 2021 season. One of those reasons is because the players and the owners and the league can't figure out a way for these guys to play for their country, as you would apparently not play for the USA right now. But what do you see on the horizon? What needs to happen?
Yeah, so what can happen is this coming September, either the Players Association or the league can opt out of the current CBA, and then it would end the following September. And both organizations met in Vegas recently to discuss the World Cup. And it didn't go well because it's not happening, the 2020 World Cup. They canceled it. Yeah, international play is a big thing that'll come up in CBA talks because, I mean, the players want to play in the Olympics. And it seems like a lot of them don't really want to play in the World Cup.
No, the Olympics are the hot issue, right? Because let's just face it, North America is not a team.
No.
Like, I'm sorry for all you 30, all you 30 and unders in North America that aren't going to make the U.S. or Canadian national teams. There's not going to be a place for you to play.
And the European miscellaneous players.
Sorry, Mr. Chara, but you're going to have to, play for a real team. But, are they going to play in the Olympics? What's going to happen?
I think the players do have a lot of bargaining power, but Ovechkin was threatening to leave,
and now he's got a Stanley Cup. He could legitimately say, "I want to win for my country."
Yeah,
That's
because
important
he was saying he was going to do that. He's like, if that was what was important, he didn't go, and then he did win the cup. But like, you think about it, what if he would have left? The Caps wouldn't have won the cup, and I mean, he doesn't have that much time left. He could say that again, like he wants to play for his country again before he leaves. A lot of players could do that.
That's a choice that any star could make. You know, what if Connor McDavid says, "I want to bring home gold for Canada"?
Yeah, I mean, because all he's played for is the junior team and then the fake Olympics. He's only played for Team North America and like those.
What a shame.
I know, yeah, that's not. They want to play for real teams and they don't want to play in the fake Olympics with the fake countries.
There's the whole issue of were they holding guys back? Like, why are Johnny Gaudreau and Connor McDavid playing for a fake team? I mean, in the Olympics, that doesn't happen. They just go out there and they compete with the top.
Yeah, and what a lot of borderline players were doing this past Olympics, I'm talking about borderline NHL players, they were signing AHL deals or leaving on purpose. Like, Wilkes-Barre had Christian Thomas go to the Olympics. He's a guy that could have signed an NHL deal, but he didn't to keep his eligibility. So you might see more of that when we get closer to the Olympics.
Yeah, it did make some nice storylines. I mean, we covered Ryan Malone trying to make a push back to the Olympics for him.
Yeah.
That would have been really fun if that story would have played out.
Yeah.
But
and it gave the smaller countries a bigger shot. But do you want to see Germany dominate, or do you want to see Canada, USA, like their best guys?
Yeah. Can you imagine the power play with McDavid and Sidney Crosby?
Canada winning bronze just didn't feel right.
No.
So hockey's not going to have a World Cup anymore. Gary Bettman didn't go to the last Olympics. Football's never going to have any kind of tournament. So you're basically, from North American sports, you're left with the NBA going to the Olympics. Great tournament. Of course, the World Cup of soccer is probably the greatest international tournament here. But baseball's World Baseball Classic has become a real thing, hasn't it?
It has, and especially the last when the United States won. In fact, they got in the finals for the first time out of the 4 World Baseball Classics, not World Cup. But I think the United States has to be competitive for people to get into it. The semis and the finals are always going to be played in the U.S., and if you don't have the U.S. as one of those 4 teams, it's going to be hard to draw people to the ballpark. Dominican, Japan, Korea, Venezuela, they all have
Cuba.
Great players, Cuba, but it's not like the home country team, and I think the U.S. winning, and the way they did it, emotionally with Jim Leland as the manager, and
Can't
they really
beat that.
pulled together.
Yeah.
I think it definitely got people interested in the WBC more than the other 3 by far.
I wonder, even in having had conversations with Pat Courting and other people in Major League Baseball's offices about this, what they value the most about it isn't even so much the American angle. They want to be able to grow the merchandising and the brand and the sport in those other countries. And that, to me, has been the beautiful part of the World Baseball Classic to date. Yeah, we can all quibble about, so-and-so pitcher is only allowed to throw X number of pitches per game, even if it's an elimination game, and, some of the weirdness that Major League Baseball teams themselves have put in. But the beauty of it has been that the Dominican Republic, that Venezuela, that Japan, that Cuba are legitimate threats to win every tournament.
They are.
It's a real tournament.
And it really does show that baseball is a global game, at least especially when it comes to North America and also the Far East and some pockets of Europe and other places. But yeah, it's interesting to see. I think when it started, everyone thought, well, the United States will win every time. It will be a no contest. When the United States,
never
as I
won.
pointed out, they even get to the finals and to the 4th one.
Yeah.
So, to me, that makes it fun. But I think to the casual fan, they just don't wrap themselves around it like if the U.S. is in. But people who really love baseball, like me and you, we think it's kind of neat that other countries can
I just
win
want to
too.
see it back in the Olympics, and I know that's a far-fetched notion because of when the Olympics occur. But I covered the last baseball tournament that was in the Olympics in Athens, and I know that one of the things that still breaks my heart about that is that when the IOC threw baseball out, they also threw out softball, which was a ridiculous move.
Yeah, it really was, and that was a lot of fun to see the premier players in the world go against each other. And unlike baseball, where you had a major leagues and they weren't going to send their major league players to the Olympics, you had the very best softball players from the United States and every other country in that tournament.